Hi everyone, welcome to day one at the 10th annual Data Innovation Summit, day one. I am here with Kieran O'Driscoll, who is Head of Data and Analytics for Africa and the Middle East at HEINEKEN. Welcome Kieran, it's very nice to talk with you today.
Thank you, it's good to be here.
Can you tell us how do you feel to be here at the 10th Jubilee edition at the summit and also be surrounded by so many people who work with data analytics and AI?
Yeah, no, it's really good. This is my first time here at this summit, but what I've seen this morning has been, really engaging and exciting. There's a lot going on, so I'm looking forward to the rest of the event in terms of seeing a little bit more. But I always find this type of event is really crucial. You always leave them inspired with new ideas, or even just a slightly different way of looking at things that you hadn't maybe considered before. So I always find it really, really beneficial and useful to attend. So
yes, thank you for that answer. That's why we are here to provide a platform for people to share, to exchange ideas, and also challenges and solutions at the end of the day. So thank you for that. I would like to ask you, you are also a speaker at this summit, and I want to ask you regarding your session. Your session outlines HEINEKEN's transformation to becoming a data-driven company. Can you share a little bit more in regards to this, and what is one takeaway that you want attendees to take away from your presentation today?
So just earlier on, I was speaking about how HEINEKEN is transforming to become the best connected brewer, and this is a key part of our overall business strategy called Evergreen. So if you talk to anybody in HEINEKEN, we have about 90,000 employees. They will have heard and be aware of the Evergreen strategy and becoming the best connected brewer. So what that means is about kind of doing two things at the same time, which is digitally transforming our front end by totally digitizing our route to the consumer and becoming a data-driven organization through running your business on data-driven insights and foresights, while at the same time simplifying and modernizing our back end. Because we're over 160 years old, so we have a long legacy of technology and data and processes. So it's about at the same time, bringing that right up to date with a modern IT infrastructure. So that's what we mean about becoming the best connected brewer, is those two things.
I'm sure that your presentation was engaging, and I am also sure that those who are listening enjoyed it. Thank you for sharing that. I would also like to ask you, in your session you emphasize the role of data in decision making. So can you give us, for example, an example of a business area where analytics has made an impact?
So for us, it's not just about one area. So we've a lot of use cases in the supply chain area using, say, IoT technology in the breweries to optimize processes in real time, logistics, planning, forecasting, minimizing out of stocks. But the biggest area to date where we're seeing the return on investment, I would say, is in the commerce area. We have lots of different applications in commerce, ranging from RMG, so optimizing, ensuring that we've got our products at the right price point to meet consumer and customer needs. But also on a more practical level, we have AI-driven advisors for our sales reps, which gives sales reps the next best action, right down to which outlet they should call next, to what discussions they should be having with the customers while there. Product recommender is also in the commerce area. So if a product is out of stock, rarely that the customer is provided with the next best product specific to their outlet. Also optimizing the assortment that the store carries, whether it's a pub or a tavern or a retail store. So we're seeing a big improvement in the performance of our products by optimizing and having the right things in the right place at the right time.
Thank you, Kieran, for sharing that. I would also like to ask you a couple of more questions in regards to change in organizations, and when it comes to people, change management is very important, and also cultural change as well. So I would like to ask you what are some currently challenges that you and the organization is facing when it comes to building a data-driven organization at Heineken, and also how did you and your team approach these challenges to overcome them?
Yeah, because that's the main kind of point, because I suppose becoming data driven is not about the data itself or the technology. They are essential, but being data driven is about people making data driven decisions more so than relying on their intuition or their gut feel. So whatever analytic solutions you develop, they need to be actionable by people. And to enable them to do that, we have a number of programs such as data literacy programs, data upskilling for senior leaders and for the rest of the organization. But the key thing is, I find, is that to actually develop analytics products and solutions with the business users. So that was probably the one big shift that we made a couple of years ago, is instead of the analytics team getting requirements, building a model or a dashboard or whatever it is and handing it back to the business to implement or to action, is actually co-creating in collaboration with the business users, bringing them on the process so they get to see the art of the possible, what can be done using the latest technology, but also an understanding of how the insight at the end was arrived at, so they have much more confidence in it. And also, by doing things in collaboration, means that the analytics teams, whether it's a data scientist or an engineer, they actually get a much better appreciation of the business context and how what they're building can be implemented. So it's really about that holistic approach with the teams working together.
Yes, and I'm also certain that you touched upon this topic in your presentation. Otherwise, there's a lot of time to mingle with the other attendees to talk about these topics. And I would like to also ask you, you are someone who is involved in business strategy and also data leadership. What technologies are you most excited about or hope to see in the near future when it comes to shaping the next phase, I would say, of Heineken's digital transformation?
Well, look at, I suppose there's a lot of hype, around kind of Gen AI and now agentic AI kind of coming. I think they offer huge opportunities. But for me, I'm seeing it's an avenue that allows us to maybe exploit or untap the potential in unstructured data. Because still, the reality, even though we do lots of things, whether it's image recognition or sentiment analysis or that, excuse me, I think there's still a lot of potential in all this unstructured data that organizations kind of capture. And I kind of see us moving to a stage where, we've 90,000 employees in Heineken. So that's a lot of eyes and ears that are out in trade, talking to customers, talking to consumers on a daily basis. So once we can capture and consolidate that data and analyze it using the new technology that's now available, then that allows us to be much more insightful than what you can just relying on structured internal data.
Thank you for sharing that. The future sounds exciting for Heineken, in my opinion. And to sum up this talk, I would like to ask you, can you describe the Data Innovation Summit in one word?
Well, that's the toughest question. As I said, if I was to pick one, probably inspiring, because as I mentioned earlier, I'm looking forward to catching up with and engaging and connecting with peers at the event over the next 2 days. And I'm 100% confident that when I leave, I'll be fully inspired and reinvigorated. That's more than one word, I know. But I suppose inspired and reinvigorated, to take the learnings back to my own organization.
Thank you very much. Thank you.